Now, when PostHog was initially put together, product analytics was the product remit, and it had an open source core. You guys have expanded greatly in the intervening years. So tell me and everyone listening what PostHog builds today.
Sure. So PostHog provides customer infrastructure. We simply aim to ship every single product that relates to customer data. Today we have about 14 products that relate to mainly kind of product engineering or growth engineering use cases, like product analytics, obviously, but like a whole list of other tools that are adjacent, like session replay, error tracking, feature flag, experimentation, data warehouse. The list goes on and on and on. And what we're trying to do is, instead of integrating a bunch of tools together, we're like, no, we are literally just going to freaking provide all of them. So there's perfect first-party data as AI has come crashing in to then just automate everything. Very long term, I'm hoping we provide business autonomy. It's kind of the end game for us.
Go ahead and define business autonomy for me.
We want to automate every process that happens across every major function that relates to a customer. So within product autonomy would be a subset. This is like, hey, today you tell Cursor or Windsurf or whatever, like, hey, this is the thing I would like you to build for me, please. You wait 10 minutes, it comes back, you edit it a bunch of times. But you're still deciding what to build as an engineer based on maybe what a product manager told you, based on like your own knowledge of your customers, whatever your process might be. We are trying to get to a state where we've built AI already that's like chat to your data, as you would kind of expect. We're starting to get into the bit where in now you can do things with it. Like, hey, these are actually the things you should work on. And then longer term, I suspect it'll be like, hey, you fire up Cursor in the morning or whatever else. It's like, here are the 10 things that have been built overnight based on a really deep understanding of customers. It's like multi-dimensional. Like, it's not just the data you get from event tracking or just the data you have from errors. It's really every color to understand the painting, basically. I think it is going to be possible to build a better product manager than a human product manager with better understanding from just how effective the models now are really enabling this when you have this wide range of data. So, I don't know, when we started the company, everyone was like, enjoy the good old days when it's two idiots and no one else to worry about. And now we're like over 100 people. But we've had the complete opposite experience. It's got much more fun as we've gotten kind of further along. And I think partly that's thanks to the changes in the tech landscape too.
So just to kind of adjust that down, you guys started with product analytics, have expanded to essentially anything you might need for product related work. You've added AI in now, and then it sounded like you're describing essentially some sort of AI agent backend that's going to take on tasks for people that are building products. How did you get from working with your co-founder at a financial technology company to founding this to then building essentially AI-driven business automation? It's quite the leap. What was the initial spark?
My last job, I wound up as the VP of sales the first time in my life. And I was selling compliance software to large banks for millions of dollars. I would wear suits in inappropriately hot climates. And I would be going up into skyscrapers trying to get people to buy stuff for a couple of $1 million. And I just had this feeling that this approach we're taking feels like doesn't feel like the future. It feels like the past. And I could see vendors starting to build enterprise software that had been more focused on the end user, basically, where their go-to-market is in enterprise is like, 200 developers insist on using GitHub. And now the procurement team has to buy it, even though they don't really want to, for example. And so I could sort of feel this. So my co-founder was quite simply the fastest engineer I'd ever met and the best, in my opinion, kind of therefore.
So this actually brings me to the open source point, because going back to the history of the company, you guys discussed how having an open source posture of building and releasing software helped you get early attention to the company. I've often heard about open source as a great business model, less as a promotional technique, but was the open source starting point critical to finding that product market fit that early?
Yes. I think it was a constraint that we faced was there's already a bunch of competition there's a massive amount of competition for what we're building. Like in product analytics, I think at the time there were probably 3 companies doing 100 million run rate or more. There's like Amplitude, Mixpanel, Heap have all been pretty successful to some degree or another. And so like, well, we can't do cloud. That's off the table already. And I am technical enough to be dangerous, I would say. So I've got like a bit of a developer background beforehand. My co-founder is extremely technical, but he can do the other. He's very good on the commercial side as well. But one of the quotes we had early that I've understood later from Ali Ragani, who's been on our board, who was the person that ran the continuity fund at YC when that existed back in the day. And he said, when you get bigger, you can kind of see around corners. And I'm like, what does that mean? So now I know what it means. It was like, actually, once we have lots of users, we can figure out what to build properly. And so PostHog's never felt like, we've never kind of descended down from the hillside and gone, you know what, like this is the future. It's going to be this. But the reason that we have our strategy is working now is because we had the wrong strategy, but we spotted some things that were working haphazardly along the way and then kind of iterated our way across to something that worked great.